Go.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Quench Life podcast. My name is Jillian, and with me today is Dan Young from Simple Again. He is the big mind behind our awesome shakes that we have here at Quench. So Dan, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
So great to be here. Thanks, Jillian.
So why don't you tell us a little backstory about the shakes and just kind of the story of why you got involved in the shake business and why they're so awesome for us.
I'd love to tell you that story. It's interesting because this is actually my journey, my personal journey. 23, 24 years ago, I was actually stricken with some diseases that doctors then said were incurable. And after doing my own research, I realized that I could fix my body with pretty much everything that was in my own pantry and refrigerators. So I learned all about whole food nutrition, and I learned that Whole Foods was our pharmacy.
Yeah.
So after cleaning up my diet and realizing that my body was replacing itself, that I could rebuild and fix myself. And sure enough, through my own health journey, I would say 21 years is when I started this company. I have never had a rebound with my diseases. So I feel like truly Whole Foods is your pharmacy if you understand the foods that you should be eating and the variety of those foods and the foods that you should not be eating. So from that story, or from that experience, I actually learned, and I wanted to bring that experience to health clubs because I figured health clubs were a great place because people that were going there really wanted to improve their bodies anyway. And we all know that nutrition is about 80% of the battle. So you can work out very, very hard, but if you're not getting your diets right, you're going to probably put yourself in a more of a more difficult position to get there to your goals. So I brought this to health clubs, and today we're in about 3,000 health clubs worldwide because people really want to get this message of whole food nutrition. And in fact, your juice bar sells all of these great products. Those are replete with the phytonutrients that your bodies need to rebuild. And so what I've learned is that we need enzymatically alive food. We need food that is nutrient dense, food that is fresh off the vines. And so because of the relationships that I've built over the last 20 plus years, we actually have built great relationships with farmers. In fact, a great story for us is all the farms in Wisconsin now are going RBGH hormone free, antibiotic free, because of our efforts. That's a very big thing that we're so excited about.
Yeah.
So we're changing the paradigm of the foods and how our bodies are looking at those foods so that we're absorbing those nutrients right. So the foods at your juice bar are actually, we certify the source of every ingredient, where it's coming from. We make sure that they are non-GMO. In fact, we have been so far ahead of that curve.
Yeah,
we've been 5 or 6 years ahead of that curve.
For a while, yeah, for sure.
Yep. And so you've got very clean ingredients. And we know that if you put clean ingredients in your body's going to run at a higher level. And that's kind of the goal here. So that's kind of the backstory of how we got here. And now what we're doing is finding new foods and developing new relationships and expanding those, because my philosophy in diet is eating 32 different foods every day, and every day should be different from the day before. So let's keep some variety at your juice bar all the time.
Right. That's great. And that's a great story. I think that so many of us, specifically women, are always out trying to find, how we can be healthy. So what makes your shakes different than, like a protein shake I might see on Facebook, or something that you might go into town to a shake place to get? Like, why are these ones just so much better?
So from everything I just kind of talked about, because we do certify the source of everything, and we actually deem a lot of ingredients that people in general have accepted as okay. Like, for instance, synthetic sugars. We don't allow synthetic sugars in our proteins or any of our products. We don't allow sucralose or aspartame, anything like that. So there are some nuances that that you may just take for granted as being okay. But in reality, those synthetic or artificial ingredients should never enter your body. And so we do certify the source of every ingredient and bring those ingredients to the customer, and ultimately to your customers, so that they are getting pure, clean foods. So that's a big piece of it. And then the second component, of course, is how do we put those foods together to create the perfect ratio of macros so that you get to your goals. One of the biggest mistakes that everybody makes, especially women, because of the misconceptions about nutrition and diet and foods in general,
Yep.
is that we need to starve ourselves after a workout,
Oh yes.
and and that we find as the biggest mistake and can really thwart your efforts. So if we teach you how to refuel at the right times, give your bodies the ingredients that it needs in the right ratios, and
Right.
that's where you're the expert, Jillian. Your shakes that you have at your juice bar are in all the right ratios and caloric
Right.
ranges to match specific workouts, so that when you're done with the workout, you're actually pulling in the right nutrients in the right levels. That I would say 100% of your people, when they have a workout, and if they were to recover within 30 minutes, you ask them to think about how they feel an hour after that shake, and they're going to feel better than they've ever felt, just because
Right.
their body responds better
Right.
than
So
it ever has.
why don't you walk us through then, how the benefit of using that recovery shake. So, that's what we put our focus on, is getting that protein into your body up to 30 minutes after you work out. So do you mind taking a moment and just kind of
Sure.
explaining what happens and why that's such a beneficial time period for us to get that protein in?
Oh, sure, sure. Yeah, on a physiological level, when we work out, and it doesn't matter if we're doing a treadmill, we're doing weights, we're doing functional training, hit, you name it, whatever the workout is, um, you are burning energy, and energy is stored in your muscle fibers. So you could be, and we all eat all day long. We need to eat, and we're eating vegetables and fruits and whole grains, legumes, beans. Those are all carbohydrates. So you're eating carbs, proteins, and fats all day long. The carbs that you eat, if you're eating responsibly, are all being stored in your muscle fibers as called glycogen. With every gram of glycogen, you've got 2.7 grams of water attached to that. So when you're working out, you're sweating, you can almost see the glycogen being used.
Right.
The biggest mistake that people make is they leave the gym after that, and they've used up all of their glycogen, or much of their glycogen. And sure enough, their body's going quickly into this catabolic state, which is really the one thing you need to avoid after a workout. What is a catabolic state? Well, when your body thinks it's starving because you've just put it through this strenuous workout and you've used up stored energy, your body's saying, all right, I need to replace that energy, and you're just giving it water. Well, then what happens at that point is your body finds the energy from within. So you
Right.
didn't give the energy from externally through a shake. You gave the energy from within, because now your body says, I'm not getting it from a shake. So let's just break down the next easiest thing, which is always muscle tissue or organ tissue.
Right.
So yes, you're losing weight, but you're not losing the right kind of weight. You're
Not the
losing,
weight where I want it, right?
no, 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 no. You get on a scale, say I lost 6 pounds this month, but you're losing muscle and you're losing organ,
Sure.
and you're creating a bigger, different version of yourself, a higher fat to muscle ratio. So that's old school. That's what people think they had to do years ago. But now we know with new science that, look, what's the key in working out is to keep your body in an anabolic state. So when you're done working out, sure enough, if you replace those calories, be very mindful, what was my workout like, and what were the calories that I used? And if you replace those calories within 30 minutes, then you take advantage of all that hard work in the gym, and your body will absorb like a sponge back into its muscle fibers. Not 1 gram of a shake that you put back in your body goes back to your hips. They go right back into muscle fiber. That's where it came from.
Yep.
And what happens then is the muscle stays on your body. So then when your body, because people think I need protein after workout, you really need protein to sit on the back of the carbohydrate to be pulled back in your muscle fibers, because why you sleep is when your body rebuilds.
Got
So if I can, like a sponge, pull amino acids from protein back into my muscle fibers post workout, then when I sleep, I'm going to have an amazing sleep, and your body is going to be rebuilding like crazy And you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. And guess what? Protein helps you look leaner, gets you leaner. So does that make sense?
Yeah, those are all the words that I like to hear.
Ah, and they work. I can give you great anecdotal stories. I have an amazing testimonial from the COO from a major health club chain who never understood recovery. And he decided to do 90 days, not changing his diet. He's a martial arts guy. And he sent me this diet plan, carbs, proteins, fats, and everything. And the only thing he did was he added 400 calories a day from a recovery shake. And he burned off 9% body fat in 90 days. 9%. He gained 2 pounds of muscle. He couldn't believe it. So it's because he fed his body what it needed at the right time. He avoided the catabolic state that we all go into after a workout.
Right. So what if I'm like on my way home to have dinner or lunch? Do you still recommend that I have that shake on my way home? Women, I think we're so conscious of calories. So it's like, okay, well, I just burned 400 calories working out. Now you're telling me you want me to have this 375 calorie shake, and now you want me to go home and have dinner.
Yeah.
Usually that's where everyone's eyes cross and steam coming out of their head, because they feel like we have to be at a calorie deficit from what it is that we're doing. So how do you feel about that type of feedback?
So this is how I feel about it. And
All right.
science backs me up on this. And in fact, the proof is really in the pudding from people who have done this process. And in fact, I live this process. Since I've seen you last, I've become a triathlete. I do Ironmans every year now. And
That's awesome.
I outperform because I have dialed into my nutrition. I've never bonked while I'm out there. So it is really key that you just time those nutrients right. So when you have worked out and your body is in this catabolic state, let's get back to start rephrase that question to me again. So I'm going to make sure I hit it succinctly. Go ahead.
So if I understand correctly, you want me to have a protein shake once I'm done working out. If I did my strength training workout today, but if it's about 5 o'clock, probably going to go home and start preparing dinner. I think.
So that's right. I'm sorry to
Yeah, that's
break
okay.
in there.
Women, we get just so calorie aware.
And right, and
great.
they become very calorie aware. In fact, someone else coined this phrase. I wish I had done it, but the recovery shake should be known as free calories. In
Right.
other words, it's the only time of the day that you can actually bring calories in and they're not counted. Why? Because your body doesn't look at those calories the same way as it's going to your next meal. Not only that, but that next meal is a meal that you're going to make and probably is going to take 30, maybe 60 minutes or so to make. And then at that point in time, your body's already gone into this catabolic state. And so it's not going to accept the recovery. So the science behind it really backs up that I need to have liquid calories or calories that are high glycemic within 30 minutes to take advantage of the insulin that your pancreas has released so that I can pull that back into my muscle fibers. Then 1 hour after my shake is when I can sit down and have a whole foods meal.
Sure.
Because a whole foods meal is generally low glycemic. You're using, let's just imagine a chicken breast and a baked potato, broccoli. All of that, you've got carbs, you've got proteins, you've got fats, all get digested slowly in your body. So the high glycemic beverage or meal that you'll have post-workout within 30 minutes is quickly digested and assimilated within 30 minutes to 60 minutes of a workout. At that point in time, your body needs to start eating again.
Right.
And so the timing is actually perfect. So when folks have just had a great workout and their intent is to go home and have a meal, then it's actually perfect timing to have that recovery shake. Go home, take your time, make your meal. And by that time, your body has already assimilated all those calories and you're ready to start eating again. So it's actually good timing to do that.
So I can keep eating. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's the
Got to refuel.
keep eating.
Yes, you've got to eat to lose weight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part, when you think about the shakes, is that you think that you're taking in, that meal right there. And where I think also kind of trained to think of shakes as like, well, that's your meal replacement. So I'm glad that you clarified the benefit of those for us.
And then I might lead you into the next question, which is your women might say, well, then I'm going to be eating too many calories in a day.
Sure.
And then I'm saying, look, I'm not telling you to eat more calories. I'm telling you to just kind of reposition when you eat those calories. So if the most important calories of the day are that 4-hour window of your workout, let's get smart about when we're putting calories in our body. So 2.5 hours prior to your workout, you should have had your best meal, because that needs to be digested and stored away so that you are working out on an empty stomach. You're not burning calories in your stomach, digesting, putting energy there. Your energy should be in your workout. And then
Right.
you have a great workout. And then, of course, you have your free calories within 30
Sure.
minutes. And then you're eating your next best workout or meal an hour after that.
Yeah.
And,
And I
and
feel like, anyways, if you would go home, I mean, where's everybody's downfall is while you're cooking dinner. You know, you're
right,
starving. You might have had a snack at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And so you're making dinner and putting 4 broccoli in your mouth and trying to,
right.
or
We
whatever.
all do that.
Where if you have the shake, at least it gives you a little carryover so that as you're cooking, you're not starving and just putting stuff in your mouth mindlessly. So there's definitely some things there for sure.
And try to avoid like drinking your vino, your red wine while you're cooking, especially if you've just worked out, because you will be thwarting your efforts
Yep,
there. I mean, I love to drink red wine while I cook, but not when I'm having my post recovery
sure.
meal.
So drink in the morning. Drink in the morning if I work out at night. I'm just kidding.
That'll be your cheating meal. That'll be your cheating meals on Friday
Let's make
nights.
sure we're on the same page. Get to bed. I'm
You
supposed to
need
be
to live a
eating
little.
one right now. So my last question for you today is just in regards to sugars. I love having conversations with about sugars with you, just because the products that you guys have are natural. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of natural sugars at play
Yeah.
versus fake sugars and things. And I know you kind of touched on that, but when we look at what it is that we're getting and serving sizing with those shakes, can you tell me just a little bit of what the difference is on that and kind of,
Sure, sure. Not all sugar is created equal.
yeah,
We know that. I can tell you that the fruit shakes that you serve at your juice bar have zero added sugar. So, and you're serving 6 servings of fruit. So you can just look it up, Google how much
so
sugar is in
added
6 servings.
sugar meaning like stevia or,
Well, I don't even know if I would classify stevia as added sugar because it's approved by the National Diabetic Association, but there are a lot of sugars, fructose corn syrups, maltose, anything with an ose at the end, which is a synthetic sugar. We decide that they are added sugars, and we should avoid those because even if now listen, ladies, um, it's nice to eat foods that have zero added calories and you see artificial or synthetic sugars on the label. But when you put those into your body still has a reaction. Your
right,
pancreas senses the sugar or the sweetness, and then you still have a release of insulin. So you're still pulling those calories to be stored as fat. So don't be fooled in thinking just because it's a synthetic sugar or a zero added calorie sugar that you're going to have a positive result. You're not. So you want to have natural food sugars that are naturally occurring, because when you have fruit that has, like an apple might have 23 grams of sugar in a whole apple, well, that's great. People think, well, that's too much sugar. No, because that sugar that's in an apple, fructose that's held in the fruit with the fibers, is actually metabolized differently in your body. So when I said in the very beginning that not all sugars are created equal, that's exactly what I mean. The fruit sugars that are held in your fruit are actually metabolized slowly, because fructose is recognized by your liver and is actually shunted right to your liver, and that's where it's metabolized. So you have no insulin instability when you're eating those kinds of sugar. That's why when you're on a healthy meal program, that in fact the National Cancer Society has come out and said we need 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Well, we know that you need those vegetables and fruits. We need to have more of a plant-based diet,
right,
and those fruits are loaded with natural sugars. You're not going to have insulin instability because of that. Now
right,
you do have some chocolate and coffee and chai flavors, which are, by the way, organic, and they're very nice. But we've chosen to use organic, lightly sweetened with organic sugar cane, which has, if you look at that, chemically, it looks very much like the sugars that are coming from fruit. And we lightly sweeten it so we're hitting the right caloric level that you need post-workout. So you are not getting empty calories in that situation. So yes, we should be concerned about sugar because sugar is really the enemy in many of the foods, many of the processed foods that we eat throughout the entire day. And this was my problem years and years ago. Those processed foods turn into sugar very quickly in your body because they are so high glycemic.
Right.
And that's even foods that do not contain sugar, like pretzels, very high glycemic. You put those in your body and they turn into sugar faster than table sugar.
Right.
So, so be very careful and aware that as long as you're putting in whole food products that naturally contain the sugars that were meant for, you're going to find you're going to have a very positive response in your body. I don't know if that was a clear and succinct.
Great information. No, it's good information. I think when we start talking about nutrition in general, there's just so much different information depending on what path you go down. So having a better understanding, and we talk a lot about healthy living and whole life living. So lean proteins, lots of veggies. That's kind of what we are about here, and creating a lifestyle that you can continue versus some type of crash situation.
Yeah,
so
cool.
all of those are great clarifications. So question, what's your favorite shake on the menu after you work out? What's your go-to?
Oh, I love Veggie. I mean, I created that shake for my kids because they would not have, they just wouldn't have dark leafy vegetables, right? And so that's an easy shake. And I love variations of that shake.
Yeah.
Any way that I can put in some dark leafy greens like organic kale and spinach, those greens help to alkalize my body. And I find that most Americans are really walking around in an acidic state. And I find that if you are acidic, guess what? You'll never lose weight. And cancer and other disease loves you.
Right.
So we need to get our bodies alkaline. So if we can keep those 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and the I Love Veggie that you have has 9 servings of fruits and vegetables in one shake.
I think it's the veggie patch, but yeah.
Oh, you have it. You call it the veggie patch. I like that.
And I like to switch mine out with the beetroot and berry juice.
Nice.
Instead of the pineapple, I feel like I'm getting an extra kick with my beets in there.
Yeah, and we've just created. You don't even know this yet, but maybe after your members see this. We just created a bowl, a crushed fruit bowl, using the 9 servings of fruits and vegetables. So it's going to be,
cool.
So people.
So that's something that's coming out.
Yep.
Oh,
already done. Yep.
Like to have the inside scoop. All right. So last question before you go that we ask everybody that's on the show is, what is your favorite exercise? Do you have one?
Wow, that's a great question. Boy, it's changed so much since I started doing tries 4 or 5 years ago. I really think that swimming. I love swimming long distance and getting lost in my strokes. It's just, it's a great place to be. Yeah. And I don't hear the phone ring. I don't hear anything.
You're underwater. Nobody can bother you.
Right.
You go on a pond, a lake, or the ocean, or your pool?
Well, I did a try in Maine and last September. And it was 52 degrees and 4-foot swells, and I'll never do an ocean swim again like that. So no, you give me a nice still lake, open water swim, and I'm in heaven.
All right, perfect. Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to join us here on the Quench Life podcast. We hope you have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Jill. I appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.